Good morning, everyone. Call this meeting to order and stand for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Keisha Johnner.
Here.
Jim Mueller.
Here.
Steve McCombs. Here.
Entertain a motion for today's agenda.
Move to approve today's agenda.
Second. McCombs. Aye. Mueller.
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye. On to communications. Board, I do have an announcement. I want to make sure everybody is aware and the public. We do have a special meeting next Tuesday, 12/16. This will be the salary study. The Austin Peters group will be presenting to us as a board. That is a special meeting. Any other communications? Seeing none. Move on to public comments. This is the portion of the agenda which we can hear from the public on items that are not below on the agenda. These could possibly become for future agendas. Is there any public comments? Seeing none. All right, move on. The consent agenda. Board, before I ask for approval, I just have one question and regarding the salary statement here. And I'm going to ask the sheriff. Sheriff, my understanding you're asking for a $6,000 annual stipend for the fiscal year for the K-9 handler. Just wanting to know how that how you come up with the $6,000.
That was a comparison from other counties on what they're paying their K-9 handlers. That's actually lower than what most are, but the effort and time, the taking care of the dog, the things that are there, that's a normal practice for that. Sorry, you want me to come up there, Steve?
That's okay.
You can hear it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a normal practice to do that with those K-9 handlers, and that's actually on the lower end. But
So my understanding, this is the second dog for your office. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Okay. How did you handle Deputy Shorts?
He had a reimbursement also, but not at that same amount on it. And he was just, I mean, we were new to the program there, so we didn't have all the information and the knowledge we have now.
Okay.
What does that cover to? That cover like food or vet?
It takes the care of the dog at home is what most of it's for. So we're very fortunate. Most of the time we get vet services and the food and stuff are at discounted rates or whatever, but yeah, that's for, I mean, the care of taking care of the dog. It's canines are great or whatever for work things, but they're 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And there's a lot of work that goes in having a dog at home too. That's a work dog. That's what compensates it for.
And this is coming out of your current budget, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And then how is that being paid? Is that monthly?
I think Troy and Lisa got it figured out, that it's on I think it's year, it's broken out by the year. the way
Monthly.
Yeah,
Okay.
by my understanding.
And the reason I ask Jason and to the public is just generally we talk about these things in budget, so I think it's always good for transparency. So
No problem.
That's the questions I had.
And one last question just for me is, whenever the officers serving on duty here in Marion County, he will have a dog with him?
Yes,
Okay.
yep. Other than the fact that we have had some deer hits, obviously with this time of the year or whatever, and he's getting an estimate on a car, so he had to leave his car for that. I mean, yeah, but yes, when he's on duty and when it is.
When able, he.
Exactly,
All right, that's cool.
All right. Any other questions anybody have? If not, entertain a motion for consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll support.
Mueller.
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
McCombs. Aye.
On to business. Item number one, board is before us is our 2026 lobbyist service agreement with Skinner and Paschke. Kelly Paschke is online, I believe, this morning. I just want to make sure everybody understands and notes. In the past, my sister was our lobbyist. She is no longer working for the firm. So today, and in the past, I abstained. This morning, I will be voting. So we were both named Kelly, so just want to make sure there's transparency and clarity. So is Ms. Paskey online? Okay, great, all right. Board, if you see in your packet, there is been presented to us a lobbying service agreement. And I'm going to turn it over to Kelly and allow her to give us just a little bit of an update of how what last session brought forth and where we're going at forward and how the agreement is working. So, good morning, Kelly. Are you there?
I am. Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, I can. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for letting me appear remotely this morning from West Des Moines. And thank you for considering our contract again. As you mentioned, we've been your lobbyist. Our firm has been your lobbyist for the last several years. Sadly, Kelly Myers, your sister, left the firm earlier this year to take a new opportunity, but we are still excited to continue representing you. In the 2025 session, as you know, one of the big issues we worked on for you was the sinkhole legislation. That legislation remains alive. We are in the second year or going into the second year of a 2-year session, and we look forward to picking up where we left off with that legislation and moving it forward and trying to find some way to get the legislation across the finish line in terms of regulation of the sinkhole issue. Moving into 2026, the legislative session begins January 12th. It is the shorter year of a 2-year session, so it's scheduled to end or to last 100 days. That's really just the number of days legislators get paid. You all have read the same news we certainly have. The priority for the upcoming legislative session appears to be property taxes, as well as the recommendations from the governor's DOGE committee. We anticipate being heavily involved in any of those discussions and keeping you abreast, probably weekly, given the impact that those 2 issues could have on Marion County. And we will provide weekly or biweekly reports, whatever you prefer on those issues. We will also have, as you can see in the contract, additional hands on deck. Given sort of the prominence of those issues, we will be working alongside the Smith Fitzgerald firm, and they have a lot of experience as well in property tax and county government issues. It doesn't change anything in the contract in terms of what you pay. It's just really we thought it would be appropriate to have more hands on deck given the prominence of these issues. We're also seeing a number of leadership changes that occurred over the interim due to, for example, Senator Jack Whitford stepping down from his leadership position in the Senate and Majority Leader Matt Winchell stepping down in the House. And so that has caused a series of committee shuffles and leadership shuffles, but we look forward to working with the new leadership team and committee chairs as well. Happy to take any questions.
Do you have any questions for Ms. Paskey?
I just have a couple of just general questions. And I'm curious as to how many years have we had a lobbyist? I know this is probably more for Jake.
I think,
Three or four. Three or four.
yeah, I think we started in 2021.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because, and if I remember correctly, 2021 and then 2022, we were able to secure the $1 million with RIF by the help of the lobbying firm. And so, and then obviously we've been very prominent in property tax reform and regarding what they plan to do and House File 718.
Yeah, I think all 99 counties are probably on the private house file 7. So yeah, I think that's. Are there other specific things that we've accomplished through the lobbyist efforts that directly impact Marion County that otherwise wouldn't have been covered via some other county? And as a subsequent question to that is, how many counties have lobbyists, pay for a lobbyist?
So I know that ISAC, obviously, we do ISAC, all right, on top of we're doing our own lobbyist. And one of the reasons that started, I'm just giving you a little bit of back history, is going after the RIF fund, Rebuild Iowa Infrastructure Fund. And that was because at the time, it didn't allow a property for federal government. So we needed a lobbyist to help us get that machine. So we had that. Then recently with the sinkhole, I have been to the Capitol several times. We have a sinkhole issue in Marion County. And I feel that it is very important that we continue with this legislation to be able to hopefully get some sort of regulatory authority or to be able to call somebody. At the end of the day, we have nobody to call when we have someone. And it has put a lot of burden on our road department. As chairperson, it has been a huge struggle when you have nobody to call and nobody will step up and say, yeah, I'm willing to help you. And if we can get something done this year, it would be excellent. But if we don't have somebody representing us, ISAC takes priorities, and ISAC is impactful. But when you have 99 counties, you have 99 different thoughts, and then they only do certain issues. So they're not going to take on a single issue.
Any idea how many counties suffer from the non-coal mine related sinkholes? I know coal mine related sinkholes are covered legislatively. It's just the non-coal mine related ones that we suffer from because there were, other kinds of mines that impact Marion County. It would be interesting to me how many other counties also have that same issue. Are we a one and only out there? And therefore we're the only one that's paying for a lobbyist? Or are there other counties that should also be in support of this type of legislation? I don't have a problem paying our fair share if we're having effectiveness. I just don't want to be the only one on the hook for paying for something that others are going to benefit from as well. I completely understand the ISAC issues and those things, but I also don't like to be the only one writing checks.
So, and Kelly, I don't know if you know this answer. I believe there's a Lynn County that has their own, obviously, Polk County does, Webster County has, and then there might be several others, I don't know.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know the number of specific counties that do have their own lobbyists. It's many. It's not uncommon for cities and counties to employ their own lobbyists in addition to be members of the league or ISAC to work on issues that are specific or unique, relatively unique to that county.
I would also like to add, in regards to like road use, with the inflation price of raw concrete asphalt, it's my understanding the road use tax is keeping up there and what we're seeing. So I'm sure there's going to have to be some sort of, from the engineers department, communication also at times, just to help support and say, hey, we need to reach out, so, yeah.
And again, I'm not against this necessarily. I also recognize, due to House File 718, there's going to be a lot of continuing economic pressure on all the counties and all the cities. And quite frankly, I'm going to be hard looking at things that are expenses with the county that either should be shared or eliminated. And I mean, quite frankly, this is one that steps up to the plate as how effective is it? Is it a shared expense? And is it something that is it a short-term or a long-term expense? And how effective has it been? I don't know.
I would say very effective when it comes to getting $1 million. I mean, that to me has been very impactful. I think that at the bare minimum, we need to see if we can get some simple language passed. And then I have been to meetings recently with Bobby Kaufman, and their plan is to do a significant property tax reform bill. Significant. So we better have somebody up there stating on behalf of us, along with ISAC, because it's going to take a team effort. Because at the end of the day, we don't have the sandy beaches and the beautiful mountains. I don't know. People want to be able to have good roads, and then when they dial 911, they want a response. And property taxes is how you're paying for that. Sure. And I don't know how else, unless the state is willing to give us some funding. And I'm conservative. I want to be able to make sure that we're not spending more money than, but we have to have some sort of representative at this point to be able to say, okay, this is what we're looking at and impacts in Marion County. And we're a growing county.
We want to be.
Yeah. Do you have any questions?
Well, yeah, I think it's very important that we have a voice at the state level. But I also agree with Jim, maybe we need to look at some other counties, see if we can't share some of the expenses. I don't disagree with that either, but I do believe we do need employees.
All right, so and regarding what the cost is, it is $30,000 that's put before us. That has been the same rate from the beginning. They have not increased that rate. I feel that it is a wise 30,000 that we try to it's an investment in my mind.
As I said, I'm not against it. I just want to have an informed opinion on
No, I agree.
what are the results of that $30,000 investment. Because we all know the pie is not getting any bigger.
It's not. You're right. It's not getting any bigger, and I think all of us are probably going to have to look at where we're spending, and it's not an infinite amount of money. So,
It's gonna be a challenging budget.
no further questions? No. Do I have a motion for the lobbyist service agreement? For approval.
I move we approve the lobbyist agreement.
I'll second.
Johnner,
Aye.
Gomes,
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate you coming on. Also, I look forward to coming up and visiting with you, and I also extend that to the board, making time. Kelly, if you could, I will send you an email to make sure you have both Jim and Steve's email addresses so that you can communicate.
Thank you, and thank you all for your support.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good one. On to item number 2. Item number 2 is the Marion County Zoning Commission. I believe we have Missy via online. Missy?
Yes, so we have Joe Cunningham who served out a term, has been on since April 2023. Joe's done a great job, has been a very active member. And I would recommend that he be reappointed for a 5-year term through December 31st, 2030.
Board, do you have any questions or concerns regarding reappointing Joe Cunningham?
Move to approve appointing Joe Cunningham to the Marion County Zoning Commission, 12/31/2030.
Second.
McCombs,
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Johnner.
Item number 3 is also an appointment board. It's for Marion County Board of Adjustment. Jan Saleheka, term ending 12/31/2030. Missy.
So Jan has been an extremely active member for many years. Actually, he served 30 years. He is willing to continue to serve. We are going to reappoint for a 5-year term, although we do know, and he's been told if if at any time he decides that, hey, he's going to have some upcoming surgeries, he needs to step back, we can always, find a replacement for that at that time. But he does intend to continue to serve as long as he can. He enjoys interacting with the issues in Marion County. So, and he's been a very active member and of course a historian of Marion County in that role. So I would recommend reappointment of Jan at this time.
Board? Any questions? No? Entertain a motion?
I move we approve the appointment of Dan Saleheka.
Support.
Mueller.
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Thank you.
On to item number 4, resolution 2025-93. Board is the Marion County official 2026 employee holidays. And Missy.
I'm Lisa.
Lisa, sorry. Missy. Good morning, Lisa.
I should wear my name tag.
It's all good. I think I should.
It's all good. I prepared this for you, kept it the same as previous years, so this is a point for you to start. If you want to make any changes, that's totally fine. You want to add, take away. This was just where I started, that this is the ones that we have recognized in the past.
Right, so it's just really just bringing this forward again.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. It's something that we do annually.
And
If I could make a suggested amendment to this. Specific to the winter months, January and February and MLK and President's Day. I would request the road department receive 2 additional floating holidays rather than observing those holidays on those specific dates.
Which holidays did you say again? Martin Luther-
MLK and
President's Day.
So I guess you're saying you're wanting to exclude your road department from those dates. And you're wanting to add 2 more floating holidays.
Correct.
But to me,
Because
that
if we work that holiday, they receive 8 hours of holiday pay plus time and a half. So in this instance, it's a regularly scheduled day for them. But they get a floating holiday of 8 hours whenever.
And if they work that day, then they don't get any extra benefit, no holiday pay, no time and a half. Right?
It's a regularly scheduled work.
It's
day
a
for
regular
them.
scheduled day. They get a
Correct.
floating day instead of Martin Luther King Day. It's a regular day.
Correct.
So it'd actually be a budget reduction. Cost savings to the county.
Potentially, yeah.
If they had to work.
Correct.
but
So I mean, that's obviously the reason he's asking this, because they have to work those certain days, I'm assuming. I'd like to talk to my staff about, the options of that on different things, because I don't know if my staff would rather have the time and a half or the day off, the time off at a different time. But I think the reason, Tyler, you're saying that's like you're busy during those times, correct? And that's what you want.
Yeah, I mean,
You kind of want the option to do something on days where you're gonna be out busy working, is that?
yeah, it just seems like more often than not lately, we're working those holidays. And then, like I said, it's essentially 2.5 times pay for overtime and holiday pay together.
But that's only if they're called in on that holiday. You don't schedule them to work on that holiday as a matter of course, right?
We do not.
Okay.
We do schedule.
Yeah, see, and that's,
So
there
that's why-
lies a difference.
Yeah, but that's why I just gotta figure out on that benefit, on.
I think this opens up a lot of, and I think this becomes an accounting nightmare. Because then we have to say to the auditor's office, oh, by the way, these employees get this, and I think it's just difficult, because now and I get where Jason's coming from and asking on that behalf of his employees.
I'm not against Tyler, right?
No, but I
I'm
get
just
what you're
saying,
asking.
wherever
No,
we-
Yeah,
where we're looking at, if it's better for Tyler and his department to do it that way, I'm not against that if he's suggesting that. I'm just trying to figure out, how do we can we have the option down the road? And maybe it's just on Tyler's thoughts today, but I'm probably gonna ask,
I would prefer not to do it this year and have a little more conversation about this for maybe next year. And get it all parties and maybe do a working group to figure out what the impacts would be, and get Jake's office, get Lisa, get those departments that are affected, and have a.
Yeah, there's a difference if they're scheduled to work on the holiday.
Exactly.
Floating holidays paid 8 hours, as is MLK.
Yeah.
The potential savings is that we don't have that time and a half on top of that if we have to work and either pay those employees overtime or they're off work for comp at a later date. That's how we were looking at it from the road department's perspective.
The request has merit, it's just right now we don't have the infrastructure and the things in place with all the decisions that need to be made in order to make every department feel like they're being treated fairly. And we also probably don't have the payroll system in place to necessarily support that type of an operation, at least today. And perhaps throughout 2026, we'll evaluate a different payroll system that may enhance our ability to pay more effectively and more efficiently. So.
And I just don't want to make
Maybe
a
my
knee-jerk
thought.
decision, not that you're just doesn't have merit, I understand where you're coming from.
I did bring it up last year before the holidays.
He did.
Resolution as well.
You did, okay, and I don't recall that, but I'm sorry. But we need to really maybe discuss this, and And there has been a lot of moving things this year, with Lisa and myself, with handbook and salary study, portals and things like that.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, seeing this on the agenda kind of caught me off guard too, otherwise I would have been
Yeah,
Can
so,
we,
prepared
just a quick
to
question,
send a recommendation.
yeah, well, just a quick question for Tyler, or, I mean, do we have to wait a whole nother year? Or
Yeah.
can there be a discussion in the next 2 weeks to have the discussion, because it doesn't take effect till January 1st?
I don't know that,
Can you table it, have a discussion to know the ins and outs? or not?
I think with the salary study, on behalf of, Lisa, there is a lot, guys, moving in the background, there's a lot of, and then we also are working on a portal system. Employee portal, if you remember, I just think adding this is just adding a little bit more to the plate that I don't think, and
And just to be clear, I'm not asking for more from the road department.
you're
It's
not, you're.
An
you're
equivalent
not.
holiday pay, just at a different.
But I also have to think about what. It could be, well, I wanna work. I wanna be able to have that floating holiday, you know? Those are other things that, come up.
But
And
I want
work
the
from home,
holiday.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
Yeah, so.
and in our department's defense, the recorder's office isn't getting called out, or, a courthouse department isn't getting called out on that holiday to work.
I would like to also know how other, I'm a person that you not necessarily reinvent the wheel. Let's see what other counties are doing and how they're handling it. And I think that that's.
And
one
some
thing.
of that will show in the salary. Yeah,
I know, we have examples of that.
yeah, I wanna look at that again, cause I haven't studied that part of it. But you're on to something there, but. Cause that was, the benefits were looked at in the salary study.
Tyler, I think that. And board, I would like to go ahead and pass this as it is today. I think I want to be able to have time to work on this. And whoever is chair for next year, I do think that that is something that needs to be considered and put on the agenda to discuss. So, okay,
If certain details could be worked out by the end of the calendar year, is it possible for consideration prior to 2026?
well, I'm looking to pass the resolution today.
Right, could we amend prior to the end of the year?
I think-
Is that something?
At this
you
point, I
consider?
don't wanna do that, and this is why, just because. Well, I don't think people understand, that the amount of work, this salary study is a lot of work. And there's daily calls, if not multiple calls. And then on top of handling everything else, trying to make sure that everything's done, I think this is just adding to the plate. And I'm sorry that we didn't do this prior to, and I'm sorry that I didn't remember. And I would have added that. But I think that this year, I think that we work on this for next year. That's my thoughts for it. But I want to hear from you, so.
I agree. I think we just need time to think more logically and objectively come up with a plan of attack rather than shoot from the hip and then mess with everybody. It's not that we're making any changes to what it's already been done in the past, no.
Nope.
That's,
I get it.
that's to say that, that's never an excuse, is to say, well, we're gonna do it that way because that's the way it's always been done. It's a terrible reason. But in this case, we're not changing anything going forward. So let's plan objectively and make a conscious decision on how we affect people.
I think we're gonna have to be very careful on how we word it, 'cause the way the weather's been going this year, could have added 3 more days on.
You mean where you got like Thanksgiving and you
Yeah.
got, other things?
I'd like to think about it a little longer, see how we're gonna word this.
So. Alright. No further discussion, I'll entertain a motion for resolution 2025-93.
Move to approve resolution 2025-93.
Support.
Johnner.
Aye.
Gomes. Aye. Mueller.
Aye.
On to item number 5. This is resolution 2025-94 to approve ISAC HIPAA program service agreement. Good morning, Lindsay. How are you?
Good morning, I'm well, how are you?
Good.
So-
Board this morning.
So before you this morning is an agreement with ISAC to participate in their HIPAA program. So currently, the Board of Health does have HIPAA policies that we follow here in public health. And the county also has policies that were updated all the time. So this program would give us annual training for all of our employees, as well as access to general counsel at ISAC and another law firm should we need consultation or assistance. They would review our policies and advise on them and provide a template if we wanted to use that as well. So they do ask for contact people. Lisa and I are willing to serve as those people for our county, should you choose to adopt this. And the fee is right now $1,950 a year.
This would be somewhat sending out these trainings. Is this also like something that would be sent out virtual? They have to do trainings. Do we have any understanding of that? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know about the annual training, but there is a webinar series that people could watch if they wanted various topics on HIPAA. So that the HIPAA 101, webinar, let's say webinar.
Okay.
So that's an annual thing.
And I think the boilerplate update to the policy and everything, which is in itself well worth the $19.50 on an annual basis. So, to me, that just is like an incredibly valuable investment in following the rules.
Yeah, when HIPAA has become very prominent and something that we all need to be very cautious of, and I think ISAC often this is very helpful. So I don't have a problem with it.
No, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, entertain a motion for resolution 2025-94.
I move to approve resolution 2025-94.
Support.
McCombs? Aye. Miller?
Aye.
Johnson?
Thank you. Item number 6, board is, if you'll recall, we had a property come before, that I had brought before us in this morning, known as Hollow Station Sand Pit property. And the highest bidder is with us this morning, Brian Stern. Brian, appreciate it. And Brian was dealing with his bank, and we kind of found some title issues when coming about that. And if Ross is online, Ross can kind of explain a little bit more. If you could, Ross, you could explain to the board kind of what we've ran into.
It was to sell the property, transfer the property by quitclaim. Mr. Stirk did a title search, and there's a small old railroad right-of-way that is, for lack of a better term, unaccounted for. The property that we're trying to get to transfer was deeded to the county a little over 100 years ago. And at that time, there was the railroad there that had this right-of-way. The railroad has long ago been dissolved, and other adjacent property owners have not laid any claim to this small piece that was the former railroad right-of-way. At any rate, the title search showed that the county, there was no record of title for that small piece. It's been going along with the property for some time. Nobody has tried to make any claim that it is someone others than the property belongs to anyone but the county. That being said, it is a defect in the title, and what's before the board today is whether the board would approve what's called a quiet title action that the county would file in district court to resolve that prior to transfer by quitclaim to Mr. Stirk, which would include all of the property, including that railroad right-of-way. A quiet title action takes a little time. 6-ish months would be my estimation. Guardian items need to be appointed for anyone that could possibly have a claim to the property. In this situation, I confidently don't believe anyone has a claim to it, but it is still a process in the court. And then that needs to run its course before there'd be a court order saying that the county has good title to all of it, including the railroad right of way. And then we would do the transfer. The county has the option, before the board today, to not do that. So those are the two options: to do this quiet title action or to not do it. And then Mr. Stirk would be left with whether he still wants to go through with the transaction.
So I thank you, Ross. I appreciate that. I met with Ross and County Attorney Mr. Harmon and Brian last week. And Brian, he was the highest bidder board at 60,000. The next highest bidder was 55,000. And when dealing, finding out the issue was the title, getting a clear title, he was wondering if we would want to pay for the cost of the quiet title to be done. And it's my understanding that the county attorney's office can do the legal part, but we have to hire outside guardian of items to be able to review. And there's going to be, could be some costs there. I had said to Brian that I did not feel comfortable making and couldn't make that decision without bringing it before the board, because that's spending additional money. So,
Keisha, if I could just one clarification point. Our office would be able to do the filing of the quiet title, so there would be no outside counsel. The appointment of the guardian ad litems would not be, they're not in any way representing the county. That's just a function of the quiet title action. So so the board is clear, myself or someone with our office would be handling the filing of it. There would be no outside counsel for that piece, but it's a necessary component that likely two guardian ad litems would be appointed to basically do due diligence and make sure that no one has a valid claim to this former right of way.
and there's cost to that, the guardian.
Yes, the county would have to pay for those legal expenses for those appointed guardian ad litems.
Is there an estimate of those costs?
It's hard to know until that happens. I don't want to throw a number out there. I can say that it would likely be under that 5,000 discrepancy between the next highest bidder.
But the next highest bidder is gonna have the exact same issue.
Correct.
Nobody's gonna be able to get their title to the property until this is resolved, so, I mean, from my perspective, either we take it back and don't sell it at all, or we can spend up to $60,000, which is the purchase price, in order to get a clear title for the highest bidder, which is what I would propose. Is let's move forward, get it cleaned up, and
So you're saying really you wouldn't spend more than $5,000. I mean, I don't suspect that it's yeah.
I wouldn't spend more than $60,000, because right now we got nothing.
Yeah.
And
We
it's not
can't transfer to anybody the way it is today.
That property was of no use to us.
No,
I mean,
it was a cost.
Okay, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands on the board that Brian has not paid for this yet, and just so he's been communicating with the banker, and the banker got a hold of the county attorney, and at the time Brian had an attorney. He no longer has an attorney representing him, but yeah, I'm not looking to spend 60,000 just because, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but there's a couple different options we could look at. He's coming before us saying, hey, are you willing to help us, get this title cleared and this quiet title done? We can agree to pay to that, or we can say, are you willing to pay half? We'll pay half. There's different options that we can have, but yeah, it is gonna take approximately 6 months. Otherwise, Brian can say he no longer, to me, he could say he no longer wants it, walks away, and then we're going back and getting the title done and then going back to sealed bid. So what you said, right? You're spending more money when you have fully,
we gotta do the whole process anyway.
Yeah.
So,
And quite frankly, in real estate sales, my expectation, if I were a real estate purchaser, that it would be the seller that it's incumbent upon them to make sure that they have a clear title in order to transfer to the buyer. And I'm not comfortable in saying we'll share that expense. It's our responsibility to provide a clear title to that property. That's part of our job as a seller.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I feel more comfortable saying, I'm willing to spend up to a limit. And then come back if it were to cost that, so if it's gonna cost more than $2,500. Then we need to communicate, but again, that would be my thoughts.
I don't have a problem with it cost $5,000, at least we're getting $55,000.
I'd up it to 5.
Ross, do you have any thoughts or concerns or?
I mean, that's ultimately what's for the board. I mean, everything that's being proposed, I mean, yes, you could split it. Yes, the county can just pick it up. That can all be, I mean, Mr. Stirk would have to agree to split to that. I mean, nothing, all those are legal options. So no, I don't have a legal opinion because everything that's being talked about out loud would be satisfactory. This needs to be decided.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, well, I don't feel it's fair to him, have him help share the cost. I mean, we put it up for sale and he made that offer, which is a generous offer, so.
Okay, no, that's fine. So if you would like to make a motion that we're willing to.
Up to 5 and then revisit if it's over.
Yeah, and it's quite,
Quite excited.
yeah, quite, yeah, action.
So moved.
I'll support it.
Do that, Jake.
The recording did.
Brian, that's
Yep.
advice, and then within the 6 months, you will be bringing a payment once we have them. Great, I appreciate that.
Okay, so was McCombs moved, Mueller seconded, right? Mueller?
Aye.
Going railroad again. Johnner?
Aye.
McCombs? Aye.
On to item number 7, board supervisor updates. Mr. Mueller, do you have any?
Actually, I have 2. Last Tuesday afternoon, I participated with a Marion County Development Commission meeting. And we talked about Future Founders Initiative and the Empower Rural Iowa Grant, which most people probably don't recognize. Dan applied for and we received a $30,000 grant from the Empower Iowa Grant. And we talked about different options of how we would invest that in the county for future entrepreneurship and things that would encourage and enhance our economic development within the county. Also, last week we sat down and talked to it was a workshop with Big Bang out of Des Moines to develop a digital brand for the county and how to have a coordinated effort to bring that and, if you will, merchandise or market the county and all the advantages of the county from a digital format via a website or other digital purposes. So it was very encouraging, and we had great participation from everyone involved. We had businesses represented, we had county government represented, we had departments from in the county that were represented. So it was a very effective and a very good experience. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we can implement. And it is just a different approach to marketing the county. We've done things in a particular way for a really long time, and it's time to think outside the box and do something a little bit different. So that's what we're doing. So
Congratulations, Dan, on getting the $30,000 grant. We appreciate that. So. All right, Mr. McCombs.
I have a regular landfill meeting tomorrow besides the annual holiday get together, and also a social meeting Thursday.
I would like to just remind everybody that salary study, obviously, that meeting next week. And employee portal we're continuing to work on that. If you recall, around the beginning or July 1st, we spoke about doing an employee portal And it's getting closer and closer, so I'm hoping that we can get that done. That'll be very beneficial to be able to get forms and documents and just bring us up to the times. Last thing is, board, I'm asking for some help. I kind of slipped through my emails and time frame, but we need to have a civil service appointee. And this is, we have 2 representatives when it comes to the civil service. And civil service, it helps with the sheriff's department, examinations, appointments, promotions, transfers. It does a lot of different things. And at times it can be, they can be called on quite often. So we had one of our representatives step away. And so there is an open appointment. And so I'm asking, I guess, because I'm spending so much time on salary study information, would one of you be willing to, we do have a recommendation that the sheriff had given, and I have that in an email, but I would like somebody to be able to try to think of somebody that can maybe fill this spot for us and we get some appointment before. I know I'm asking a lot, but then I'd like to appoint somebody by December 23rd. I know, like, so, no, okay. I'll do that. All right.
Unless you want to, Steve.
No, go ahead.
So I greatly appreciate that. I have the email here and regarding, and then when you talk to people, you would like to.
Right.
Actually, so thank you.
There are some requirements that have to be thought going into that, so I can help you, Jim, on what those are.
That's great.
Yep.
One other quick question, Keisha, you brought up there the salary study. I know she's presenting a week from today. Are we as department heads gonna kind of we've got, or I have an email that kind of just shows a general side of it, but are we gonna get the information, or maybe there's a question for Lisa, the information that she collected back to make that determination? Or are we only gonna see the final recommendation and not know what went into that recommendation?
So you were given the emails and regarding the counties that they reached out to. And so that's the information. So we hired somebody to be able to do that. There is some sort of that market analysis side that we won't see. We're going to base upon what the information they were able to get. So you're not going to see everything's just not going to be an open book, if that's what you're asking. She's going to be presenting to us. You have received the ranges in which, and then at some point, depending upon the direction of the board of supervisors give, then there will be communication with the employees.
Okay, but we're not gonna see the comparisons.
You're not gonna see the.
We're just gonna get, all we're gonna get is the recommendation that she says, this is what I recommend for the study. Okay, I just wanted to know.
No,
And it isn't a meeting, remember that.
correct. Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
it's an
It's an open
open
meeting for,
meeting.
yep. So I suspect we will have high attendance. So, and even maybe the front row will be filled. So.
Maybe.
So anyways, I do appreciate it, and that's all I have. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move adjourned.
I'll support
McCombs. Aye. Wheeler.
Aye.
Johnner.
Everyone.
Thank you.